intro written. Got Scott Patterson and Sean Gunn. I had a whole intro for this. I'm just gonna do it for the sake of doing it. Let's take a trip to Stars Hollow and beyond. With two of the most beloved characters, Luke and Kirk, we're gonna dive into their roles in Gilmore Girls, talk about Saw, Guardians of the Galaxy, Creature Commandos, all that stuff. I mean, I guess give us another one for Stars Hollow. Guys, Idaho, give them a welcome. Scott Patterson, Sean Gunn.
Not bad. Thank you. You're right to applaud, but thank you.
Absolutely amazing.
I feel as giddy as a Gilmore Girl.
I do right now. No.
All right. So for the both of you who have an opening question, our show is called Distance Thirding. We're a podcast, but we have a segment on our show called Growing Up Geeky. So we want to know, what did you guys geek out on as kids?
Yeah, Sean, that's a loaded question for you.
Well, the funny thing is, it's probably the same thing you did. I geeked out on baseball more than anything. On baseball, yeah. I was one of those kids who read and memorized baseball statistics. And I was just a maniac for my home team, the St. Louis Cardinals. But I'm the youngest of six, and all of my siblings were really into movies and television and pop culture in general. My brother James is really into comic books, but we just mostly watch tons of movies.
I don't know anything about baseball. I don't know what you're talking about.
Wearing a Detroit Tigers
I was
hat.
just going over Jim Palmer's statistics from back in the day. Do you know how many complete games that guy had?
Oh my God!
How many shutouts? He threw 300 innings.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just people today. They don't build them like that anymore. But I geeked out on ski racing. That was my original thing that I wanted to be, but we lived in New Jersey where it's flat and we didn't have any money. So it's an expensive sport, as my parents explained to me time and time again through tear-stained eyes.
Oh.
So, there you go.
But you wanted to be a baseball player for a bit too, right?
I never really wanted
were
to.
a baseball
No,
player.
I never really wanted to do it professionally, and I didn't think about it as a profession. It was just something that I did and really enjoyed. Mm-hmm. And then when I got into high school, all of these adults were starting to get very serious with me about it, and it ruined the experience. Oh. Yeah, and I didn't know why they were making such a big deal, and I walked away from it.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the story with a lot of people who play sports growing up.
Right.
So you wanted to be an actor before you wanted to play baseball at all, or?
No. It was at that point I was wanting to be a musician. Okay. Yeah, I was writing songs and performing at school, and I had a band since third grade, and we started out playing 2 songs in third grade. I'm Not Your Stepping Stone and Back in the USSR. It's the only 2 we knew.
That's solid.
And,
Did you do a punk version of Stepping Stone, like a hard?
Probably. I mean, I had an Oxford shirt on, but a fringe jacket, suede man with tassels. It was just
That's hot, man. That's
Third grade rock band. It's on a xylophone.
That's edgy. So you're clean cut but edgy. I love it.
So clean cut. So here we are, these skinny little kids in 5th grade, and all the 6th grade girls are at the edge of the stage, and we're like, what's happening here? It's the magic of rock and roll, And we were just completely incapable, but we knew 2 songs, and that was it. That's all it took.
Love it.
Can you still play USSR on the xylophone, or?
A xylophone?
That's what I imagine a 3rd grade rock band would have.
No, we had a lead guitar player who was really good. I did the singing and played a little tambourine. We had Tommy Poitras, my best friend to this day, was a great drummer even back then, and a guy named Barry Burke was on bass and keyboards.
That's dope.
And we were
That's a band.
That's like a legit band.
And here's the stupidest name: we called ourselves the Unknowns.
Oh, so good.
Ironically, that would still work today.
Marketing 101, right? The Unknowns. Okay.
It's a great punk name.
So who were your idols growing up? For the both of you. Besides Jim Palmer.
Idols? Oh my gosh. I liked actors and athletes, you know. I don't remember who my like. I would watch old movies and stuff. Buster Keaton is it's like an idol of mine, and as far as actors go, there's a whole bunch. I'm trying to think of who I would have had like on the wall of my room when I was a kid. I don't know. I had a Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid poster. And yeah, I don't know. Willie McGee. It's like crickets. Love Willie McGee's my favorite player ever. Yeah.
Did you know that the Yankees did not consider him a prospect?
Yeah. They traded him for Bob Shirley. This will fascinate all of you, I'm sure.
There we go. Welcome to Baseball Talk with Sean and Scott.
2 batting titles, 1 MVP award. All right. We'll go on.
Another question for you, Sean, but like, was there any pressure to be an attorney, like, because your dad?
Oh, that's a good question, actually. Not really, but I just come from this family of lawyers. My dad is one of 9 kids, and all of his brothers are lawyers, and he was a lawyer. My grandfather was a lawyer and a judge, and and like a whole bunch of my cousins. I have like 30-something cousins on my dad's side, and a whole bunch of them are lawyers, and my one of my cousins, she's a judge. Anyway, but like in our family, my parents were very, very cool about you can do whatever you want. Like just do it, work hard at it, and try to be good at it. And my sister's an attorney, and me and all 4 of my brothers are in the entertainment industry.
Right.
So yeah.
It's funny, I just rewatched Brightburn the other day, and I was like, oh, wait, I'm going to see Sean this weekend.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I probably wouldn't have been an attorney either. That's why I'm on stage.
You don't say.
So, I mean, let's talk DC. We can talk the elephant in the room, but Scott, you were also in DC, yeah?
I was.
Yes.
Look at this guy. We got some
I was?
DC royalty.
What? With what?
Did a voice.
Voice acting.
Oh, the Batman thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See? There you
He's
go.
like, wait, I did.
I'm not aware of what family that was in. I mean, it was like a 2-hour gig in Burbank in a voiceover studio, and then I get a call 6 months later. We're flying you to D.C., Washington D.C., not the planet Marvel D.C. And there's a premiere, and I'm like, what? I thought this was just some little dink job, for a couple hours they didn't pay me very much. And it's this big world premiere and red carpet and the whole thing. It was really wonderful. And they obviously played the movie, and I was blown away. Gotham by Gaslight.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, this is really good storytelling. And I had 2 parts. I was Jack the Ripper and Commissioner Gordon, and pretty much using the same voice.
Magic of voice acting.
I literally just heard someone's mind blow just right now.
It's gonna make for a heck of a sequel. That where they make the shocking discovery about Commissioner Gordon's nefarious past.
This was my intention. It didn't work out for me, though.
Sean, have you heard of DC? I don't know if you've ever heard of DC Comics yet. Maybe?
I've heard of it. Yeah. I missed my opportunity to make a joke about you flying to DC on an invisible plane.
It's too late.
It was
now.
right there for me. I had it.
No, it's too late.
And then it got away from me.
Yeah.
We'll
But
fix
you
it.
can
We'll
all
fix it
make
in
one
post.
up in your minds. It'll be good, I'm sure. Yeah, DC. I'm working on some stuff there.
All right. So I know James has a question here, but I have something specific about the character. How is it following up Pedro Pascal's Maxwell Lord?
He and I keep going up for the same roles. No.
This close to being Mr. Fantastic.
No, yeah. I think it's obvious when you know that he played that role in Wonder Woman 84 that our version is quite different because he's him and I'm me, and also it's just a different version of it. I can't really talk too much about it other than to say that whenever I play a character like that who who has a history, but is also going to be something new going forward. My brother and I talk about it in a lot of detail, and he gives me relevant source materials, and we kind of go from there. So we make sure that we're on the right page about who this guy is. But I really loved playing him, and I'm excited for people to see him.
Nice.
We're excited too.
I did the same thing when you showed up as Calendar Man. I was like, oh my God, Calendar Man?
I don't know where he's
I'm a
going.
nerd,
He may
dude.
be
So
gone
I'm just
forever.
like-
I don't know.
Hey, real quick, we're gonna ping pong on a few projects between Scott and Sean. But if you have questions, specifically Gilmore Girl questions, we're gonna do 2 QA sessions. First one's gonna be Gilmore Girls. Second one, we're gonna open it up for whatever. So get your Gilmore Girl questions ready. Cool. Scott, let's jump back to you. Let's talk about Saw. What was it like being in Saw? Because that is such a huge horror franchise.
Well, I think the natural next step you want to take after Gilmore Girls.
Yes.
Thank you for understanding. Based
Find your
on the
audience.
best-selling novels from the Russian author, it was Dostoevsky wrote these. They were translated into English, and then the producers, Mark Berg and Oren Kulis. No. Yeah.
There were days you wanted to saw your own leg off on Gilmore Girls. Right? I mean,
And I actually kind of did. I did. When I walked in and said, this scene stinks and you got to rewrite
boy.
it, then I was like, anyway. My manager called me and said, Darren Bousman wants to take you to lunch. And I said, who is that? And she told me, and I go, oh, yeah, okay. So I went to lunch with him, and he had great energy, and he was smart, and he had great ideas. And he said, I want you to take over the franchise. And so I called my manager, and I said, what do you think? Gilmore, Saw, She said, it's a chance for you to take over a world-leading, global-leading horror franchise. That's not a bad thing. Why not? I mean, it's a challenge, and so I said, yeah, it was a 3-picture deal, and I went to the FBI and did their training program and did all their psychological profiling stuff, and it's fun for an actor to research all this stuff and invest them in it, even though it's a horror film. Like, you can't play it like you're in a horror film. You can't. It's got to be real for you. So I wanted to make it as real as possible, and it was fun. We had a good time. If you're dealing with blood and gore, it takes a long time to shoot those. They didn't tell me that, so it really is a long time. But overall, I enjoyed it. I did have an issue. There's actually, you might find this interesting. The reason they killed me is because I questioned the judgment of the writing in a scene after I stick the pen in my throat. The next day I'm in the hospital, Hoffman comes to see me, right? Well, I'd just had surgery to close up that throat, right? I'm not talking. I'm certainly not screaming in the script said screaming, yelling match with Hoffman. They get into a huge fist fight. They throw each other all over the room. I'm saying, guys, I wouldn't be able to be, that's not even within the realm of possibility. And they said, well, no, the fans don't care. I said, no, the fans do care.
Yeah. Have you met the internet?
I mean, what are you looking to make me look bad here? I said, come on, let's calm this scene down. It'll probably be better. And honestly, I think it was a much better choice because I think Costas's work in that scene was some of the best work he ever did on that entire the number of films that he did, because he had to withhold everything. It wasn't like a knockdown thing. Subtlety is not what those producers are looking for. So they killed me on the third one. There you go.
Hey, you've both done kind of horror and comedy stuff. Is there a preference between? You talked about all the blood and all the time it takes. Is there a preference between different genres of filmmaking that you prefer?
To me, I imagine it's probably the same way for you. It's like the story is first. So if it's a good story, I don't care what the genre is. I don't care if it's comedy or horror. I tend to like to do whatever I haven't done most recently. So like if I just done a bunch of comedy, I want to do a drama, or I want to do something scary. If I played a really good guy, I want to play a bad guy. If I just played a raccoon, I want to play a weasel. So,
Gotta mix it up.
yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. All right, speaking of, so Sean, you played a number of roles in Marvel, DC, and everything else, which leads us to the question, what was your favorite job on Gilmore Girls?
I have a new answer.
It's like a leading question.
I would say,
Everybody's
what's
like,
your favorite job? I throw it back at the person. That's the first way I respond. But lately, my response to that question, because I've gotten it before, which may surprise you, I'm a filmmaker in my real life, so I think filmmaker is my favorite job of Kirk's.
Good call. Good call.
His movies are spectacular. They're really wonderful.
All right, let's jump back. Scott, let's talk about, since we're all getting a little thirsty up here, can you tell us about Scotty P's Big Mug Coffee?
Oh, sure.
I saw you doing some stuff down at Warner Brothers.
Yeah, so about a year, January of 24, I made a deal with Warner Brothers, and it happened so fast because I started that deal-making process in 2001, and then 2024 came around and they called back. It's amazing. So we made a co-branding deal, and I think really it was, Warner Brothers knew that I was starting a coffee company back in 2016. They wanted to see if I kind of knew what I was doing or if it would survive. So we survived for like 8 years or 9 years, and trust me, survived many situations. But they thought, okay, well, I guess they know what they're doing if they're still around. And we provide them with all of the coffee that they sell, the Gilmore lines, the Luke. I mean, it was an insanely proud moment when, that first bag arrived, and we filmed a little commercial at Warner Brothers with a little film crew. And, is it here yet? And all this stuff. And I wrote that commercial, by the way. And then the red bags, the Luke Steiner blend. And it was just really surreal for me. And now we're doing SKUs after like 10 new SKUs are coming, and we're prepping 20 more. So the idea is to sort of build out the diner from the inside out, so that there's so many products they have to build a diner. That's the master plan.
I think it's so cool that it turned out to be a thing, and people can be like, "Oh my, that is something I want."
Well, I love the wholesale business. Well, that's what I'm gonna. I love being a wholesaler, not so much a retailer. Scotty P's makes a grade 1 specialty coffee. It's really, really expensive coffee. But I didn't want to do the cheap stuff because everybody does the cheap stuff. And I know Gilmore fans expect quality. Hey, man, I'm telling you, it better be good. And if it's good, it's really not a price thing. It's more of the value that the customer is getting. So that's kind of what our mantra is providing greater value than the price could ever be. So, we're very thrilled with Warner Brothers. It's a great partnership, and they're great people. And we do Holidays Made Here events together, and 5,000 of you show up, and it's just great and insane and fun. And we're going to do it again next year, bigger. And Sean will probably, if he's available, will probably help us out there too.
Maybe he needs another job.
Back there.
No, it's just
Doing the...
flipping flapjacks.
No. I'm doing an espresso. I'm putting the thing in. I'm working. I'm being a barista.
But the thing is y'all want to celebrate all the time. You want these occasions to celebrate, and we're bringing them to you, and we love celebrating with you because you're so much fun. I mean, 5,000 of you. I must have signed 1,000 autographs on the closing ceremony January 5th at Warner Brothers. And, I mean, the tears in all your eyes. It was just amazing. You're an amazing group of people. So thank you for your business.
That's awesome.
Give yourselves a round of applause.
Yeah. All right, who's got Gilmore Girls specific questions? Raise your hand. Come on up.
Come on up here.
In the meantime, you want to ask a question?
I'm going to ask a question for you guys here while everybody's coming up here. So, Hypothetical here. Luke and Kirk have decided to go on a road trip together. Where would they go and what music would be on the radio?
Oh, boy.
Let's start with you, Sean.
Whatever Kirk tried to play on the radio, Luke would continually turn it off. There's no doubt.
Perfect.
Like, isn't it?
Perfect.
Off,
Perfect answer.
off. I think. I don't know where they'd be going. I don't think Kirk has ever been on an airplane. I think in a road trip, they're playing a road trip over to. They're probably going to what's the name of it? Waterbury. What's the you guys would know? What's the town? Woodbury. What's the Woodbury? Yeah, they're probably going on a long road trip to Woodbury.
Was that Star Song?
Yeah, it was like the rival town, like Taylor would always be talking about.
Right.
He was angry at the people over in Woodbury.
Because they had the celebrities. And
They always were
made the
one-upping.
move.
Woodbury.
Right.
Woodbury! Okay.
I don't think they'd last too
You
much
got a
longer
question.
than that.
Oh, wait, Scott. What would they be playing?
Road trip and music?
Yeah, third grade xylophone.
Well, no, I would have, right now I'm listening to Who's Next when I cook, so it's one of the great albums of all time, The Who, Who's Next, because it's basically an acoustic album. It starts out that way anyway. I'd have Clapton on the radio. I'd have Cream and The Who, and I don't know how.
And Kirk would be like, "Can I put on the soundtrack to Cats?"
The newer one.
Yeah.
With Taylor Swift.
Yeah, the new one.
The movie.
new
I hate the
Cats.
play. The movie is awesome
Yeah.
though.
And then Luke's like, no, I've got this album from this new band. They're called The Unknowns.
Solid. Good callbacks. You got a question? Let's hear it.
Hi. What are your guys' favorite running jokes?
Oh, that's a pretty good question. I like that.
Favorite running joke?
Wait, do you have one? You have one in mind when you ask the question?
It'd probably be like,
Oh, you mean from the show?
yeah, from the show.
Okay.
Mine would probably be just like the Friday night dinner stuff, just like the anticsy.
Yeah.
No, you know what the running joke was? I think everybody lobbied really hard, and nobody will admit it. I'm going to admit it right here in a public forum, that I never wanted to be in any of the town hall meeting scenes. Because they took all day and half the night to shoot, first of all, and it's 120 degrees in there, and you're wearing winter clothes. So I was like, and I think everybody in the cast was like, could you write me out? I don't really see the reason that I'm in there. Well, it's you and Lorelai in the scene. I said, yeah, but do I really need to be there? I mean, maybe. So
Matches up with Luke.
that's kind of my running joke. Was like,
Awesome. Thank you. Do you have a question too?
I do.
All right.
So mine's specifically for Sean. After you first appeared when you were Mick, you were not supposed to be a reoccurring character. So how did that come about? And
How did you
what did that feel
weasel
like?
into that role?
You keep Weasel's name out your mouth.
You put
all
some
right?
respect on his name. Especially after that episode. I cried for Weasel.
So I auditioned to play the DSL installer, which, for those of you who are too young, used to be a way to get internet and services into your home. But and it was just supposed to be a one-time gig, and Amy later forgot that she gave the character a name, which is why I ended up having a different name when I came back. But I then, there was like 2 episodes later, and there was a character who was delivering swans, and they saw some actors, and Amy said to the casting directors, Mara and Jamie, she's like, I want a guy like that guy who played the DSL installer. And Jamie Rudofsky, bless her heart, said, why don't you just hire that guy again? and Amy's like, I'm gonna sleep on that, and thought it was a pretty good idea. And then they just started hiring me, but they never told me. It's not like they gave me a big phone call where they're like, we're gonna keep bringing you back to the show. It always felt like a kind of like a trial run for me. Every episode, I thought every episode I did would be my last until I had done like 12.
but did they ever give you a series regular contract?
Not season 3.
Oh, okay. So it took
Yeah.
And then that lasted around the show.
Yeah. So it's seasons 3 to 7. I was a series regular. But in the first season, when we're just kind of getting on its feet, I don't even know if I'm supposed to be the same character. And it was like a little disorienting, and I didn't want to ask because I didn't want to get fired. And so I just kept showing up for work, and I think Amy then started to sort of write to my strengths, and I figured it out. And then there was a scene where it's like, that I'm part of the town, and it's, nowadays you could never really do that because almost all television shows now, they write the whole season ahead of time, and so, but it wasn't like that when we started Gilmore Girls. They were going an episode at a time, and so she was just kind of figuring it out. And at some point she's like, I'll give this character a name, I'll call him Kirk, and I read it, and I should have said, you already named him Mick in the first episode, but I didn't say that. Instead, I was like, I guess I'm a different guy. I don't know.
So good.
It would have been so much better if, like, every episode you just had a different name.
Well,
Like, he's
Anyway.
Mick in this episode, he's Kirk in this episode, that's Jimmy over there,
yeah.
Which one would you have chosen, Mick or Kirk?
As a name?
Yeah, if you had to choose.
Well, when we first meet Kirk, Miss Patty describes him as Kirk the Jerk. So you can extrapolate what Mick might have been called by Miss Patty. So I guess I'll stick with Kirk.
That's great.
Thank you so much, that's awesome.
Okay, I kind of have two questions. The first one is, could you each share a story about Amy? She just seems like a out of this world character, and I'm just curious what it was like working with her on set.
Amy is unlike any other person you will ever meet. She always wears a top hat or some kind of a hat. She's dressed like some kind of character out of Vampire Diaries or what was the Tom Cruise vampire films? She always
Interview
dressed
with
in
the
a very
Vampire.
black clothing and gothic, but she has this incredible sort of like hippie vibe to her. It's like, hey man, we're gonna create some great stuff, and she's always happy to see and hugs you, and she brings a lot of joy to the set. So whenever she directed an episode, because she did, 4 episodes a year, it was always very elevated and fun, and and Dan would be there because he'd write a lot of the episodes, and they were just fun to hang out with in Video Village and talk to and just listen to them talk. And they're quite unique. They're very well read. They go on vacations and they'll take 5 books. I'm saying, for a week, and then they'll come back. And yeah, so they're incredibly literate people. They're very well read. They just love people. They love everybody the same. So it's kind of wonderful when they're around. And not that the other directors are morbid and boring. I mean, they're great too. But when Amy and Dan, she really lights up the room. I mean, that's no joke.
I think that speaks a lot to like how every character in the show is lovable in their own way too, and it's probably
Right,
this
imagine
just makes it-
writing, 20 to 30 unique voices. I mean, that's a real gift, right? I mean, a lot of shows, all the characters sound the same. You can't distinguish between them, but not on Gilmore Girls. So it's, she's unique.
Yeah, I really appreciate how exacting she is and why everything was very much the way that she wanted it. Like what really sticks out to me about Amy, who's like literally one of my favorite people I've ever known in my whole life, and I just really appreciate how when I first started on the show, like I was talking about, I was kind of afraid of her because she's the boss, and like she's like, oh, and it wasn't until I got older that I started realizing what she was up against as a young woman who was much younger than in my perception because she was the boss. But I look back now and she was in her mid-30s. She was not much older than I am. And just what she had to do to fight to get her vision told is just enormous. And and particularly then, 25 years ago, and she did it. The reason the show still has the following that it has today is because she was relentless about her vision. She knew exactly the way that she wanted the show to go, and she fought for it and made it happen. And I just will respect that forever.
Yeah, that's a lot of fights. That's a lot of fights that she has to deal with and win, because there's a lot of pressure coming from the studio to introduce this storyline or reduce this character and let's introduce, and she was like, no, these are my people.
That's awesome.
And she actually fought for each one of us, because at the time in 2000, movie stars were starting to cross the line into television, because films were actually drying up at that point. And none of us ever thought we would have a shot to get that show once we read the script and went on for the audition. It's like, well, let's just give it our best. Hopefully we can get maybe a guest star in season 4 or something. She fought for every one of us because she wanted the perfect people that she perceived to be the perfect people that were. Yeah, well.
Yeah, there you go.
But I mean, that's a testament to her, what
Thank you
Sean
so
was
much.
saying. So I'll second that. She fought for every one of us. So quite an amazing series of events to bring that show to the people in the form that it stayed in.
So I guess kind of follow up with that, Luke and Lorelai originally weren't supposed to have the chemistry. From what I understand that they did, like in that first episode, it wasn't really anticipated that
Oh,
relationship.
they shouldn't have cast me then. Big mistake.
I would say, when do you feel like that changed?
Answer of the year.
All right.
Thank you
Awesome.
so much.
Come on up. Hey, real quick, if you guys are going to have a lot of QA questions, if you have a Marvel or DC or whatever question for Scott or for Sean, come on up and jump in line. We're just going to give the session back to you
This
guys.
is just going to be a full QA session.
But let's get through it. So try to ask one question at a time. Go for it.
So some of my favorite Gilmore Girl moments is when Luke has like mental breakdowns and has like full rants. So what is your favorite Luke Danes rant?
Good question.
There's so many.
There's so many. My favorite is when he shovels her driveway and is yelling at her.
That's a good one.
That's a
It's-
good
it-
one.
no,
I
that-
gave this to you 3 years ago.
It's short. It's
short and it's great.
short and it's great. Yeah, no, I really like that one. But my favorite was also the most terrifying. Was the in the episodes when I kind of plead with her not to leave me. Yeah, that was kind of terrifying because it was so much dialogue. And Lauren just handled it beautifully because she had a word here, a word there, a word. That's really hard to do. And whenever I'm in a position where I have a word here, a word there, you don't want to screw the other actor up or mess up their timing. And, it gets technical at that point. But yeah, that's one of my favorites. But there's a lot of them, there's a lot of them. But those two really stick out. There's some good ones with Milo, too. Yeah, and
Pushing him in the lake.
in Luke's apartment. Yeah, I like the. Yeah, the writing is so good. All the rants are great. Yeah.
Thanks.
How long did you have to learn a script, and how much of it was ad-libbed?
I'm sorry. What was the last part of that?
How much of it was ad-libbed?
Oh, no ad-libs. Oh,
Zero. Zilch.
Oh, no.
Zero. Nothing. Never. Nada.
No. You can't change a word.
Yeah.
Yeah, Amy and Dan write very specifically and in kind of an iambic. There's a flow and a music to it, and it's like, it's really beautiful stuff. And we had a kid. There was a kid who had one line. He was coming into the diner. He had one line, and when the director said action on the first take, he came in and he did like a monologue because he like tried to steal a moment, and they're gonna notice me, and I'm gonna knock their socks off. And we're just like, oh no,
That's not going to go well.
no, that's once that gets upstairs to the big boss, that's not gonna go well. So I took him aside. I actually put my arm around. I said, listen, let's take a little walk. He said, you can't do that. No, not here. I said, listen, I get it. I was you. You want to get noticed, and you're making this effort, and you really believe in yourself, but not today. Just save it for another show. But here, just say the line. Just say the line, and be great at that, because there's no small parts. There's small actors. Did you ever see a movie called With Neil and I? Okay, there's an actor who has one line, and I will never forget this guy. And it was one of the greatest moments of that film when this Bobby is screaming at Richard E. Grant to get in the back of the police van, and he'd had enough, and he just said, "Get in the back of the van," you know. And it was like, wow, one line nails it, boom, unforgettable. So that's what I tried to tell the kid. And he goes, "Who's Richard E. Grant? What are you talking about?" I said, "What? There's no van. What are you talking about?"
And I'll answer the first part of your question, which was we did not have long to memorize scripts, which for characters like me wasn't that big of a deal because I would come in and have my one scene or my little moment or whatever. But for the leads, for Scott and certainly for Lauren and Alexis, that they would have a short amount of time, partially because the shows were so well crafted that they spent a lot of time perfecting them, make sure they were exactly right. But also because I think that, like what I was saying before about Amy being a young woman, the less time she gave the studio to give her notes, the more it was likely to be able to be the way that she wanted it to be. And so it's like, so we'd get them late.
Right.
We'd get the scripts late, but it was all right.
Yeah,
you learn on the go. It's like being part of a repertory theater company or something.
Right, exactly what it is.
Yeah.
It was. One story is Lauren and I were sitting in the makeup chair, 6 a.m. Warner Brothers, first week of the season 1, episode 1, after the pilot, right? Because we shot at Warner Brothers. They came in with a 10-page scene that was newish, and they're totally rewritten. We had to learn it in 20 minutes. So we did it. And once you do it once, you know you can do it. It's like a muscle, that short-term memory thing. And I still, to this day, don't know how she did it because she was given like huge chunks of dialogue to memorize on the day. And then she'd come into rehearsal and she'd fumble around a little bit. And then on action, boom, she'd nail it. And you're just like, what? What world are you from? I mean, it's like, wow. So that was awesome to watch. But, it's, again, in the writing, if it has an emotional logic, it's much easier to remember, okay? Because your body, your soul, your heart, your intelligence just absorbs it, right? If it's bad writing, it's kind of hard to remember. That's the sign.
Thank you. Got a question?
Yes. So my question is for Sean. So you were an amazing filmmaker in Gilmore Girls, and I wanted to know, did you practice that dance for a long time? And do you still remember? Do you still remember the moves to that dance?
Aren't you a 4-time champion? You're like a 4-time dance champion.
That's a different episode, but I'm a great dancer. Let's just be honest. I think we can get that on the table. I think Amy actually saw me dancing at a rap party. She's like, "I'm putting that in the show." It didn't. I didn't rehearse that really for too long at all. I had to rehearse for the dance marathon episode, but for the film by Kirk, when I'm just dancing, they're just letting it rip. And so that I was like, I almost said that when she asked about what in the show was ad-libbed. I'm like, my dancing was ad-libbed. Like that was off the top of my head. So I'm just kind of going, I don't know. I'm a weird guy.
It was amazing. So congrats.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It was so good.
Hi. I'm curious, of all the scenes in all the episodes, which ones were your most fun and favorite to shoot and why?
Well, I'm going to give it up for this guy right here because my favorite scenes, I think, probably both of my favorite scenes are with you. The one in your apartment where I'm asking you to save me in case I get night terrors. And I'm like, and then there's another one when I have my first date with Lulu and we're in the diner together and you're like talking me down off the ledge to like go back there and be cool. Those are two that stick out. I like any scene. I love, I did a lot of physical comedy type stuff on the show, but what I really love is I love verbal, I love wordplay and I love the timing of jokes in scenes is kind of my favorite thing. So to do scenes like that with Scott, I thought was great. And he's a great scene partner for those things. It's anybody who does comedy knows that it's really harder in a lot of ways to be the straight man than to be the guy who and he's great. You get a sense of rhythm for how to serve up your scene partner to stick the landing on all the joke lines, and it's just so much fun.
Yeah, those were great scenes. Those were fun scenes to do because the characters are so different.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there were only a couple of them that were like that. Yeah, now I remember them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Got a question?
Yeah. For Scott, how did you like acting with Kelly Bishop and Edward Herman?
Yeah, so Ed Herman is a legend, and the first time I worked with him was the golf course scene when I went to the country club, and I was, I really didn't have to think about acting it. I was truly nervous to work with him because it's like you're working with a Broadway legend and a film and TV legend, and he was just as gracious and great as you hoped. I don't know if I held up my end because it's like he's such a giant talent that he can just carry you, yeah, I mean, Ed and then Kelly. Kelly, I didn't do I did peripheral work with Kelly. I was like, I had one or two lines, and it's like, but she was very commanding. Again, another legend. These are two legends on the set, and they're just great actors. And I finally had a scene with her, just the two of us in the episodes where she tells me that I'm in the Ed Herman's will, and I know that I know at that moment that I wish I'd worked with her more. It was a delightful experience.
Yeah, they're great. I couldn't have said it better. Ed's a legend. Kelly's a force of nature. Anytime, they're just such magnificent performers.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Hi, I just wanted to know, with the creative writing, it was incredible and fast-paced. How many of the pop culture references do you actually have to look up before you deliver them?
Wait, does that mean you got all of them, or did you just not look them up?
I didn't know any of them.
I'm pretty good. My batting average is pretty good. I like trivia, so I would definitely not be 100%, but I would be. I knew most of them.
Yeah, I knew most of them too. You had to look a few of them up, but yeah. I'm an old guy, so I know that.
I started watching the show with my 13-year-old now, and I find myself pausing it and be like, I like Google it. I'm like, see this is what they're talking about.
That's
She's like,
rough,
oh.
yeah.
What fun.
Thank you. What's your question?
So I'm interested in some of your newer things. So Sean, congratulations on Celebrity Jeopardy. That was very impressive.
Thank you.
So I wanted to know what it was like to be on Jeopardy. And then also, Scott, I love Sullivan's Crossing as well. And do you have anything that you can kind of hint at for us?
I'll start by saying it was awesome to be on Jeopardy. It was like, it really is such a cool sort of bucket list thing to be able. And since I won my first game, I think I can say I'm a Jeopardy champion, and I will put it on my tombstone if I have to. I was about to bring it up in the last question about the references. I wanted to say, well, I am a Jeopardy champion. So I'll be using that to the fullest extent for the rest of my life as much as possible. And I'm kicking myself that I blew it in my second game, but what are you going to do?
I imagine it's very hard.
It was very fun. And it's no joke. Mastering the clicker is no joke.
And for the record, Sean did give me the question that he blew, and I got it right. But it was not under the pressure of the spotlights.
He did.
What was the question?
Do you have anything that you can hit at Sullivan's Crossing?
I'm sorry?
Do you have anything that you can give us a hint of for the future of Sullivan's Crossing?
Oh, just, I think that's just going to be a lot of making out and stuff, Hair flowing and people with axes and wife beaters and being hair,
I gotta start watching this show.
Yes.
It's like, hold on, makeouts and axes? What the hell?
I mean, yeah.
Thank you.
Making out
What's
with
your question?
axes? Sign me
Scott,
up.
how was it acting opposite of Kostas Mandalore?
I'm sorry?
How was it acting opposite of Kostas Mandalore for all of the Saw movies you did?
It was great. Yeah, all those people were great. Some people thought we were brothers. Like I was the older brother and he was the younger brother. They couldn't distinguish between us, which I thought was an odd bit of casting. But yeah, everybody was, on their game and, it was all fine. And, Betsy Russell hadn't worked in 20 years, so I went up early and worked with her. And, she got the old scent back and, delivered a performance. And, yeah, I thought everybody acquitted themselves honorably, I would say. Yeah.
Awesome. Coming up, we got a few minutes, so let's get through these.
Okay, well, mine's gonna be quick because it's for Scott. One of my favorite baseball movies growing up was Little Big League, and you were my favorite because I loved your attitude. What was your most memorable experience in that movie?
Not getting the lead.
You should have.
And I was always going to be the lead. It was going to be me and Celia Ward. And then at the last minute, they said, we're going to hire Timothy Busfield to play first base. And I thought, what a great choice. He's 5'7", 140 pounds. He'll be believable, but, great actor. They offered McGreevy. I said, sure, what am I going to do? Funny story. I'd retired from baseball. I was 33 or 34 at that time, so I was out of baseball almost 10 years, 8 years, 9 years. And the producers didn't know that I had that background, and we went to the baseball tryout thing, and they're like, what's going on here? And then a scout from the St. Louis Cardinals approached me after and said, would you like to play pro ball, son? Wait, I'm not done. Come back.
Don't end it so soon.
This wasn't good. You thought it was going to be quick. It ain't going to be quick. You ain't going nowhere.
No.
And I said, only if you give me a big league contract. I said, because I've already played 5 years in AAA, and I'm a little sick of it, and I'm retired.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Hey, nice shirt. It's not a Luke's shirt, but go ahead. Come on.
Come on, son.
You guys could deal with this later, probably.
Yeah. He's just an instigator. So this is a question for both you guys. So we know at the end of Year in the Life, we find out Rory's pregnant. What are your guys' thoughts on who's the father and how Rory would be at this point as a mom?
So you just gave us the hardest
That's a
question
minefield. What if I was like, she'd be a terrible mom? That's like
Gilmore Girls reunion.
No, I don't know. It's the Wookiee, right? The Wookiee's the father. We can all agree on that. It's got to be the Wookiee. I don't know. It's really hard to answer that question. I'm sure she'd be great. I don't know. Maybe we'll revisit it someday.
I've been hoping.
My twist on that is, it's Logan, the child, is now going to be 10 if we ever do another iteration of the show, and that Luke and Lorelai have some kids, so our children are actually younger than our grandkids. Wouldn't that be good? Talk about whoa. Yeah.
I like that.
Awesome.
That's a good
Thank
idea.
you.
Thank you so much.
Last question.
Hi, I was wondering I'm assuming you both have seen Saw X.
I'm sorry?
Have you guys seen Saw X, the latest Saw movie?
No. What is that? What is that?
No, I haven't. She's shocked.
What is that?
What's your question, though?
But what's a
I haven't
Saw-
even
what's
seen his.
You mean this?
Saw X actually came out on my 16th birthday, and it's been my favorite movie since. I was wondering if you guys had a favorite death from the movie.
Sounds like you do. What's your favorite?
My favorite one is when she takes the little
no pun intended, saw
Right.
thingy and cuts through her leg.
Oh,
You've not seen the latest Saw movie?
no.
Oh, it's so good.
Saw et
Saw X.
and Saw X.
Yes.
Yeah, like 10.
Oh,
It's like the
10.
10th
Like the
one.
10.
Yes.
Saw 10, yeah.
No.
Number 10.
I didn't.
I'll check it out, though, for you.
Yeah,
now.
we're going to go.
Yeah.
We're going to go tonight. We're going to see it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so much. I'm gonna give you guys some quick wrap-up questions before we let you go here. So, I'm gonna ask you guys the hardest question you've ever been asked in your lives. You guys ready for this? All right. What is your favorite kind of taco?
Oh, that's easy. That's the easiest question. Beef, taco, hard shell, corn, and beef and lettuce and cheese and simple. We have a place right down the street. I get three, and then a nice thing of rice. It's beautiful.
Solid.
Really, really keep those difficult questions coming.
Better than Saw one.
I enjoyed. We have a place near the pier by where I live, and a really good grilled fish taco is hard to find because they're all so bland most of the time. But if you get a really good one, I love that.
Now, what else you got there?
All right. I got a question for you right now. All right. Luke Danes or Agent Stram? Who can pitch a better knuckleball?
Did you say Aiden?
Agent.
Agent Stram.
Yeah.
Who throws a better knuckleball?
Yeah.
Well, obviously Luke Danes. Because he's still alive. Peter Strong.
Good. Sean, along the same lines, Kraglin or Kirk, who's the better pet owner?
Better what?
Pet owner.
Oh. Kraglin does not own Cosmo. That is definitely 100% true. Who's a better caretaker, I think, is the question you
That's
meant to
better. Yeah,
ask.
that's what I meant.
But even that, wow. It's as soon as you said who's better between Kirk or Kraglin, it doesn't matter what the rest of the sentence is. Kraglin is going to be better at it.
You're not wrong.
Solid.
All right. Well, we're gonna let you guys go because we got to get you back over here. But before we let you go, what's next for you guys? Anything that's not under NDA? Obviously, we know Maxwell Lord's coming out pretty soon, but anything that's not under NDA you guys want to mention, or anything you want to mention, and then where can everybody follow you, find out more about you if they want to follow you guys?
Get a cup
the
of coffee,
exploits
maybe?
of what either of you do.
Yeah, just we'll get a little introduction to Maxwell Lord and a couple of things coming up, and then doing a season 2 of Creature Commandos, which is something I'm really proud of and really love.
Amazing.
And then what else? I'm writing a lot and just kind of doing my thing, living the actor's life.
Yeah, I'm reducing the acting obligations to focus on my companies. I have some companies that I'm forming and coming out with all kinds of things, and Scotty Pease is expanding exponentially. The podcast keeps me very busy because iHeart now wants 1 episode per day. Yeah, so that's why it changed up. They wanted more episodes. So the schedule is, and you know, I have a 10-year-old son. I want to be home. So that's it. Just bringing more products to the Warner Brothers collaboration and planning more events for the fans, and that's keeping me busy enough.
Awesome. Well, guys, give a round of applause.
Thank you.
Distance nerding.